What is up, collective? Welcome back to your intuitive session. If this is your first time here, take what resonates, leave the rest. Let's jump into the story. So the two cards that we have jumping out today is the Messenger of Fire, and we also have the Messengers card, which says signs, symbols, and communication. Now both cards have the word messenger or messages in it, so this is almost like the perfect combination or the perfect story. But we have our lady or the girl here on the right, it's almost like her reaction to it is not seeing that at first, or not maybe not seeing the benefit in a sense at first, as she's in a sense wanting to shy away from it. Um, but as she shies away from it, she's still looking back, or she's still interested, she's still intrigued, or something is pulling her there or pulling her into it. She's almost magnetized to it, almost like a bee to a tulip or a bee to a flower, almost drawn to it as if she knows she's supposed to read it or descript it in a sense. This was reminding me of the idea of almost like the emerald tablets or reading a sacred text, or this is even going throughout your day and things are just jumping out to us. Things are just almost like appearing to us, or we're like our awareness or our focus is on it and we're wondering what makes it important, or why in a sense is it jumping out in the way that it is, that is drawing you in and almost compelling you to um almost have a dialogue with it, or almost have communication with it. Or it's almost like you're reading a page and it's almost like more is coming out to you in the back of your mind, or you're going deeper and you're seeing deeper than maybe more than the average person who would just maybe look at it and skim over it and deem it to not be important. But today, the figure is a messenger of fire, so there's almost some connection or something that is drawing you in, that is almost making you say, or making you think, or at least think deeper about it or deeper into it. This is a scroll, so it's almost like the scroll is one part of the idea, and the messenger's card to the right. The scroll is one part of the idea. If you see at the top left of the messenger's card, there's actually someone almost like presenting the scroll or unraveling the scroll, almost like in front of you or for you. It's almost like designed for you to read, or designed for you to basically dive into it. But that's the one part, and then the other part that adds a deeper layer is the feathers that is on top of it. So it's almost like a double message or a double meaning to you, because it's already one thing to decode like the signs and the symbols that we see there, but then the feathers comes through. Feathers for me talks about, again, another set of signs or communications. Some people see it as messages from the divine. You see a feather, and a lot of people have their own almost like symbolic meaning or idea to what it means or what it can be pulling in or drawing in. So she's almost distancing herself at first from the idea or from the message. Maybe you're receiving a lot and it is making you nervous or scared. Or maybe you are having to deliver a message that you are feeling like you don't want to deliver, or that you shouldn't be saying in a sense. Um, but this figure in our story today, she's deemed the one, and she is the one to be almost like a speaker or presenter, one to almost like deliver, to invoke change, because this is the messenger of fire, which for me talks about drive and almost like the reasoning, or the, even if it's irrational, but it's almost like the thing that gets us going and the thing that actually gets us moving. Someone lights a fire under your ass, you're gonna get up and you're gonna move. So she's a messenger of fire, but it's almost like you're feeling your own energy in the sense of how you deliver your messages that gets people going. Maybe it's simple motivation, but if you don't want to move motivation, that energy almost turns into almost like annoyance and people, and maybe even stubbornness and arrogance. Maybe people receive it in the wrong way. So maybe this is like a teaching for ourselves of how we deliver the message and how we actually come across. It's almost like you're getting a taste, or not a taste of our own medicine, but it's almost like we're getting a taste or a sense of how we come across, so then we can deliver the messages better. so it won't come off as harsh, or so it won't come off as or just so it isn't perceived in the wrong way, is what I want to say. So this is almost like a mirror. It wants to come through us almost like a mirror today, or looking through a mirror, or you're maybe listening to like playing yourself back and hearing how you approach situations of change, or maybe trying to help change, or simply trying to deliver the message as the messenger. Um, so improving your messaging style, or improving the way that you are simply coming across. This scroll type, or this ancient text type, is almost coming through or coming across as like the emerald tablets, or even like the Bible, or it could be simple YouTube videos, or like I said, like street signs. It could be like sacred texts like the alchemist, and simple things like that. I want to say also ancient teachings and ancient learnings, because of how the symbols are almost written, and it looks like it's on a blackboard. So it's almost like this is our student, and we're looking at the blackboard, or we're sitting at the desk, and we're having to almost like decipher. It's like in a sense like crop circles as well, like having to decipher the meaning. And the idea of a crop circle, especially if you're really into signs, symbols, and synchronicities, they're very intriguing and very different, and they almost force you to think, and force you to wonder, or force you to um, ask questions in a sense. So it's almost like what you're looking at is forcing you to think, wonder, and ask questions. Um, you're simply wanting to know why you're drawn to it in a sense. But I'm feeling like the reason that we are drawn to it is because, if at least if you are understanding it, then you are meant to decode it, or you are meant to translate it, or you are meant to be in dialogue with it. Um, so if it is causing you or giving you any type of reaction, or I want to say resistance, I would take it in bite-sized pieces in a sense. Um, so it doesn't come through almost in a sense like an avalanche or a fire hose. If that is the way you're perceiving, or that is the way you're feeling it, take it in bite-sized pieces. I feel maybe your crown chakra is opening, because she is crowned with these 8 candles above her head, which for me, it almost reminds me of the 8 of Wands, which talks about a lot of messages and downloads and intuitive communication in a sense coming in, or a lot of fast moving energy, and the energy's picking up. So maybe once you almost like tap into this state, the energy picks up, and it almost flows easily or instantly, or it just goes on its own, and it's almost like you want to put the brakes on it, or you want to just slow it down in a sense. And then she's holding her arm and her body closed. For me, this is talking about closing off that core, or closing off almost like your I want to say your solar plexus. It's like closing off the solar plexus. I feel that's the center of creation, or that's where all like the fire, the drive, the chi. That's what I always said. It's like breathing into a fire. When you take deep breaths throughout your body, it's almost like it, in the same in the same way you light a fire, when you're blowing air into it, it almost like makes the fire bigger. So she's almost like closing herself down, or shutting herself down, turning herself in on herself to almost slow down. It's almost like slow down your own like signal. It's almost like this is like cutting off the signal, or stopping the signal in a sense, because it's actually giving you almost like a visceral reaction in your body, and the reaction is maybe new to you, or is coming up as a feeling of that you're needing to almost like hunker down and anchor down, and like ground yourself and become more stable. Which is why I say take it in bite-sized pieces, or take it in a way where you can understand it, so that when it's time for you to deliver, if this resonates with you, then you are more almost like confident and self-assured in what you're speaking, or what you're saying, even if you're just going over it, even if you don't have the answers. But if it's you describing it and presenting it, you're more anchored in and hunkered down, so the energy almost doesn't take over you, like the 8 of Wands. It's like, so the energy doesn't take over you or wash over you in a way where you feel not in control in a sense. So take it as it resonates, leave the rest, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.